Hello and welcome, my Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Path of True Love reading for April 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons Mal for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, professional witch, professional intuitive. I'm very, very honored to be doing these readings for you. If you are new to my channel, please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and by all means, comment in the comment section below, because I like to hear what this means to you if you're picking up any of your own intuitive hits on the information that is hitting the table. A couple of things though before we dive in. Keep in mind this is a general reading, a Path of True Love reading, which we'll talk about in a second. They tweaked it again on me this time if you're one of my subscribers or have been following me as I do these reads. General, meaning that it's not going to resonate with everybody 24/7, 365, so please take what resonates, leave what does not, and check your other signs, right? Get pieces of the puzzle. Also, because everybody's on the internet, the speeds of upload and stuff, it's just taking forever. So I'm trying to do a briefer version that I usually do. If and when things get back to normal, I'll get back to the larger spreads, but I think you'll like what we're doing here this time around. Because a Path of True Love spread reading is about your path, right? Your spiritual path, your hero's journey, your healing path through the lenses of your relationships of all kinds. It's all about how you are being healed through your relationship. So we're not even really talking about twin flames and soulmates and all that. We're talking about you healing yourself through your relationships. And the little tweak that we're doing this time around, only using 10 cards total for starters, usually I use a lot more than that, is that this is about how you become your own soulmate, how you mate with your own soul, all about loving yourself, all about, you know, the internal alchemy of your own healing process. Just finished those chakra reads, similar in a sense, because so many of us are sheltering in place, right? Social distancing and all that stuff. You know why, I'm not going to say why. So when I went into prayer this morning, I was like, okay, so the Path of True Love is next. What you want me to do? And they were like, do it this way. I was actually in a live chat the other day with somebody, and we were talking about, you know, a spread, how to be your own soulmate, right? How to mate your own soul, so to speak. And so this is it. It came through to do it for the Path of True Love read. So please be mindful of your breath as we go. If you breathe and I breathe, we'll be able to stay in the present moment, and I'll be able to get you the clarity of guidance and grace that I do try and serve, as well as you'll be able to take what resonates and leave what does not. Get the pieces that really resonate to you in the moment, though the ones that don't resonate now might resonate later. Just saying, remember, it's for a whole month. So, let's dive in, shall we? We're going to start with Caroline Myss archetype deck, just to get one card for you. All the decks that I'm reading are in the description box, and they're the usual suspects. I didn't add anything new, even though I got a new deck I could have brought in. These ones that I'm working will work just fine. Cool, cool. Let's do this. Take a nice deep breath. Oh, here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, one card in clarity, the perfect archetype card for the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. What is the lead that they need to love and embrace to alchemize into gold on the Path of True Love for April 2020, please? Just the archetype from shadow to light, from lead to gold, from toxic to healthy. What is it that they need to love, embrace, heal within themselves on the Path of True Love to be their own soulmate for April 2020? The Avenger archetype, one of the action family of archetypes. The shadow attribute, resorting to violence in the name of a cause. The light, which is vigilantism, essentially. Well, not always. I mean, you know, it's not the best way to go about doing things, but sometimes necessary. I understand that. The light, especially for an Aries, the light attribute, desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. Now, look what's going on the planet. Tensions are running high, I get it. But we're looking about the difference between revenge vengeance, and avenging, right? Balancing the scales of justice or taking justice into your own hands. Really life-changing sort of energy here in terms of the actions that you take. Remember, this is an action family archetype. So we're going to put that right over there as we keep going, because we're going to move on to our next deck, because that piece in and of itself carries a lot of weight, but let's get you some detail, right? Let's not just give you a color. Let's get you some light and some shading, some texture, right? Going on here. Nice deep breath. Doreen Virtue Healing with the Angels Oracle cards, please. My angels, one card in clarity for the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. What do they need to embrace in terms of their healing angels? What needs to heal within them so that they can mate with their own soul, be their own soulmate? For the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign month of April 2020, please, my angels, just one card in clarity for the Aries collective. What is the healing angel, since this is the Healing with the Angels oracle card? Well, there is a new love. Now, like I said, this spread is about you learning how to love yourself, right? In that process, we're all in that process. I'm still in that process. Loving what rises, inner child work, balancing the chakras, it all essentially comes down to love is divine power, the sacred truth of the heart chakra, that divine power healing us from within, particularly if we can't be with the people that we love, or perhaps we are with them, but we're all being triggered like crazy and we need to kind of take responsibility for what's going on inside of us. So a new love. Now, certainly this could be an internet thing, or maybe you are sheltering in place with a new love in your life, and blessed be if that's the case. But then really the things of balancing the scales of justice here, keep that in mind here about what is fair and what actions you will take in terms of this new love. Now, it seems odd that revenge or vengeance would come into that, but it's only our first two cards down, and what we're going to do with this next deck, I think, will give us a little bit more clarity, because we're going to use my favorite tarot deck, the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, to represent the voices of both the gods and the goddesses. Yes, I could have layered this with the Mythic Tarot, but then, you know, it's another 5 cards. I'm trying to keep these brief so that the upload time, really, it's not YouTube's fault, but a 50-minute video last night took 3 hours to upload to YouTube, so that's why I'm trying to keep them a little bit briefer, right? So let's ask the gods and goddesses here for your fire, earth, air, water, spirit. What, in terms of your own desires, what you have, fire, what you desire, earth, what you have, air, what you think, water, what you feel, and spirit, the voice of your soul that you are, essentially, but to be your own soulmate, or if you like, to be the best soulmate that you can be. What needs to be loved, embraced, and dealt with on the path of true love? Shall we? Oh, that feels good. Oh, my gods and my goddesses, please. Top 5 cards, element spread for the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, in terms of what they need to deal with in their own energy field, in their own elemental structure. Fire, what they need to embrace and love about their own desires, will, and choices. No, we're not pulling them one at a time. Earth, what it is that they have, that they need to maybe feel gratitude for, love, and embrace. What they're thinking, what they need to look at in their element of air to heal and bring into balance. Same thing, water, with their emotions. What feelings are coming up that are either there to be appreciated or need to be alchemized, loved, and healed with the point of view of their spirit. Please, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. What's going on for the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs? I feel ya. April 2020, please. Maiden, Mother, Crone. Good. We're going to get the top 5 cards there. Just going to put these to the side so I don't reshuffle them while I'm talking. So, element of fire, your desire, your will, your choices, the things you burn for, the things you yearn for. Security. So, in terms of security, I mean, obviously, the opposite of security, you could easily say, is insecurity. So in terms of feeling secure about the things that you desire and the things that you want. Look, we all carry emotional baggage of disappointment. There are things that we wanted that we didn't get. And yet there are the things written upon our heart that we did not write there, right? Just written into the characters that we are. Remember, we are the soul that was chosen to incarnate in these bodies with the names that we have in this life. Not our first life, probably not our last, right? Maybe it's our last here, who knows? But in terms of really wanting that security, right? And at the same time feeling secure that what you want is possible. Now, there's a difference between possible and probable, right? Possible, people say anything is possible. Well, I can't morph into an 8-foot tall purple giant like that. I mean, who knows, radioactivity, etc. maybe. But, you know, that's not just improbable, that's impossible. So saith I, who knows. Maybe anything can happen. But in terms of that security of desire, to know that what it is that you really want, we'll look at your element of water when it comes up. I truly do get the reasons why we want anything psychologically is because we think we'll feel a certain way when we get it. But to know that it is probable, to know that it is possible, that security, and perhaps it's just right now you really wanting your own sense of security, which makes sense for what's going on in the world, that you feel safe. And maybe that's where this Avenger comes in. Does this Avenger feel like it has to balance the scales of justice to protect and defend in order to have that sense of security? And that certainly can resort to violence if you're afraid, if you're terrified, if you feel threatened, and your nervous system is just overwhelmed, right? So let's see what's going on with your element of earth that feeds the fire. Well, and here we've got Pele, the volcano, the 5 of flames. Absolutely can be a movement of passion, as well as an explosion of anger, as well as a movement of kundalini energy from the base of the spine up, right, up and out your crown. Very much a movement of passion. So it's interesting, you have earth and fire and earth really saying, well, an earth card in the fire position, a fire card in the earth position. So these two are linked in together, going from a 4 to a 5. To really know that the passion that you have properly channeled, you can feel secure in that. But if it's feeling more like frustration, more like anger, more like, rage, wrath, a need for revenge, to get what you want at all costs, be careful. That is the very kind of thing that it's okay to feel it, it's just not great to act on it, right? We're not at our best when that's happening. So that is something perhaps that you can step back and say, all right, well, let me feel this. Let me embrace this feeling. Let it have its energetic arc through me. This is very much a therapeutic energy healing process that, you know, most people will do in therapy. The talking cure, cognitive therapy, things like that. I'm not a psychological counselor, but I've certainly studied a great deal of psychology throughout my life. Gestalt therapy, but inner child work, to take whatever anger and frustration you might have, if that is the case, and find a healthy channel for that. Writing, art, movement. I know we're all kind of limited in what we can and can't do right now in terms of physicality, and that might be because you want to feel secure and you don't know what to do about it. So to nurture and love yourself through that, to understand that if you are energetically sensitive, empathic, divine feminine, first wave, any of those things, you may very well be feeling it for everybody else around you too, regardless of distance, right? Not just if they're in the same room, but if they're in the same, mile radius. Everybody's feeling that to an extent, a little antsy, wanting to do things but can't. Power blocked is anger. Passion blocked can become rage. So it would make sense that you want this sense of security, this solid foundation, this well that never runs dry, to fortify you with what you want. This is very much about what you want, maybe not about what you need. I do feel like that if this security is really about getting your basics, your food, your clothing, your shelter, It's a different kind of reading. On the path of true love reading, for you to kind of embrace what you're going through, to take care of yourself here, to really, like, in a way, give thanks for this fire moving through you, because it's building up pressure in order to level you up, but be extremely careful of the actions that you take. Even if it's a text message, that's an action, right? Just be very, very careful. You don't want to repress it, but you don't want to be possessed by it either, where it takes over, and afterwards, when it dissipates, you go, oh my God, I don't know what came over me, which is essentially an emotional or a shadow possession, keeping in mind that the shadow attribute here speaks of vengeance and revenge. Let's pop up here to the element of air. What's going on in the element of thought? Okay, we've got the Scorpio card. Now, certainly could be about a Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whoever, whatever. But more likely what I'm feeling here is that your thoughts are being greatly influenced by emotion. Now, hidden emotion, repressed emotion, that's certainly in the Scorpio purview, right? The underworld, Hades, things that you haven't dealt with, maybe now, because your sense of security is threatened. The child archetype, which is the guardian of safety and innocence, some of this stuff might be coming up, right? As kids, many of us didn't feel safe, regardless of what, our families or parents did or didn't do, whether on the schoolyard or just in society, or just with, being triggered what's going on in the news right now. Your sense of physical safety might be bringing things up into the mind. So it's what I call over-emotional thinking, where your thoughts are so, it's like when you go into a panic, right? That energy of fear springing up here. So be aware to love yourself through that. It's okay to have these thoughts, but we are not our thoughts. Thoughts are things. They pass through our electromagnetic field, and if you have any sort of telepathic skill, you might not even know it. These might as well be thoughts that are in the air. Considering this is very apropos of what's going on planet Earth in general right now, not just in any one particular area. I mean, I'm in New York. Well, I'm in Long Island, but still, it's a tricky area to be in right now as an empath, but that's why I'm here. I'm serving. I have developed the skills. That's why I did the chakra check readings that I just finished last night, to allow this stuff to move through me in a healthy way. Since that's a water card, let's really, really look at what's going on in your element of water, your emotions. Excellent. Here we've got the Seven of Pentacles, victory, all right? So there is this emotion inside of you. You've got 2 out of 4 cards here that are element of fire, so it is your will, your passion. You are an Aries, right? The warrior, the god Aries. Now, by the way, the sign Aries is A-R-I-E-S. The Greek god of war is A-R-E-S, right? So put the I in there, you know what I'm saying? Where do I fit into all of that? So your emotions might really be carrying you to a victory. You could channel this in a way to say, okay, I'm feeling this fire, I'm feeling this Pele, the volcano inside me, I just want this, I want this, I want this. So let's channel it into creativity. Let's channel it into stick-to-itiveness, but let's channel it in a way where it flows, not where it burns, right? Not where it's scorching me from the inside out. And by all means, that can be sexual energy, that can be creative energy. Put it into some activity that helps you feel secure. Cooking does it for me, right? Because I know if I'm cooking, I got food in the house, and it's enough to like change that child inside of me to feel like, okay. Instead of, ooh, it's like give it something to do, not as a means of repression, but as a means of expressing it in a healthy way. Expressing emotion, I get that people are freaking out, right? They're feeling blocked and limited and oppressed and bored. Not great, right? Not a great energy to handle for more than a couple of days. This is ongoing. So just keep in mind to channel that into victory, that the Avenger can balance the scales of justice within themselves, understanding the larger picture of what's going on. They just gave me the words. What's for the greater good? What is for the greater good? Yes, Aries, first sign of the zodiac, the self, the personality, the ego. Absolutely, I get that. That sense of individuality. But remember, even the word individual, IN, means not. So not dividable. particularly in terms of the quantum field, that you have an opportunity to channel this, to vent this in a way that is healthy, that will take pressure off people who have no idea about this stuff going on. What a huge service to do. That's the Avenger. How about balancing the energetic scales of justice, right? Bringing yourself into what is just, what is fair. One more card down, and that's going to be the point of view of the soul. Kali, the Awakener, the card of the Tower. Now, I know people see it only as a card of destruction, and that's certainly a part of it, but this is also the Awakener. This is about something inside of you has been sleeping and is now awake, dormant and is now active, right? Potential, now kinetic. So it's really, and that makes sense for an Aries, how do you channel this in? Well, the question that's coming into my mind for you to ask yourself is, what would love do? What would love do? If I don't know how to channel this in a healthy way, what would love do? Love would say, it's okay you don't know, then this situation is to teach us how. So rather than jump to conclusions, burn the house down, symbolically as it were, how about let's breathe through this, let's do this, let's go take a hot bath, right? Let's relax, but let's allow this spiritual awakening energy. It's your only major arcana card and the only one you're going to get, only working with the tarot here. But in the soul position, it's your soul saying, yes, you are being struck by lightning. There are things that you came into this life to do, but the universe is not conspiring against you. It's actually preparing you for the new life that's on the other side of all of this. I hope that makes sense. So absolutely write down the things that you want. And I'm just hearing, keep it secret, keep it safe, right? Like, don't share it with absolutely everybody. If there's one person that you have in confidentiality that you can do this with, then do this with. But otherwise, record it in a way. Draw it, sculpt it, whittle it, however, interpretive dance, which, believe me, I do, and my energy gets stuck. I'm very verbal, so sometimes the words don't cut it. I was trained. I was a professional dancer for a while. Believe it or not a stripper or on the pole. Isn't that fascinating? No. I was a professional modern dancer for a hot second in the 80s, and I loved it. Just didn't want to start for my art. But you know what I mean? To give this some kind of practical thing that's going to restore you to this sense of security, that it's safe to be in your own body with these energies, but make sure everybody else around you is safe too. Particularly in the times that we're in, you really want to have your boundaries nice and clearly set. Just like that child inside of you needs boundaries. Yes, it is totally okay that you feel this way, but it's not totally okay that you just go out and do whatever it is that you want to do, run wild in a time where that can be very dangerous for yourself and others. You see what I'm saying? Hence, balancing the scales of justice. That's why those archetype cards are helpful. Let's get you a card to clarify here. I'll put this back. From the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, the Voices of the Ascended Masters, this and the next deck, we are going to look at a piece of luck, a piece of healing, a piece of grace, or a piece of the problem that you need to look at, embrace, heal, use, as the case may be. Just to be aware of can be a huge benefit. Nice deep breath. My Ascended Masters. Please, one card, just one, in clarity, for the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. What is the piece of luck, the piece of healing, the piece of grace, or a piece of the problem that they need to be aware of on the path of true love for April 2020, so that they can love themselves, so that they can be the mate of their own souls, their own soulmate, which, by the way, will then prepare you to be the soulmate to another. I mean, that's sort of the end. I don't know if it's forever the end of the twin flame relationships, but twin flames are just there to teach you how to heal yourself and teach you how to love yourself, because they can't do it for you. They can't give you what you need, right? So how to do that for yourself so you become the soulmate. Well, so Ascended Masters, please, one card for them. One card. What is it, top or bottom? Let me do that one. We'll do that one. Okay, that's the one that felt better. Let's see what you got. Receiving. So to be receptive more than active, more yin than yang. Well, I mean, I gotta say, there's a lot of that going around because, you know, we're not always so free at the moment in human history to just go out and act on our creativity, our sexuality, and our impulses quite the way we could, a couple of months ago. It's one of the healing cards of receiving, to allow yourself to receive the guidance, the grace, to receive the gift. Even if you're like, gift? What kind of gift is this? This is driving me up a fucking wall. But there's always a gift, right? To open yourself up to at least say, all right, maybe there is a gift here. You know, in retrospect, we always see that there's a gift. Just to refer to 9/11. Now, I'm from New York. Still a touchy subject here. So many years later, I think it always will be. I remember that day very, very, very clearly. But, you know, you look back at it now, it's like, well, we did have that sense of unity for a couple of days. We did have that compassion for each other, that kindness and that understanding for a little while, and it did change us forever. So something good always comes out of something bad, and by the way, something bad always comes out of something good. It's just how it works. It's the judgment of the human mind, but from the soul's perspective, it's all for our own healing. Everything that happens to us is for our highest good, that we learn, that we grow, that we evolve. The personality does not have to like it. The ego can outright hate it. The inner child in us may want to spit tax over it. But from the point of view of the soul, this is very, very healing for you. So to receive this time in a way for your own healing, a wise thing to do. Because if it's really something that's written in your heart, you can't get it wrong. It's just a matter of time and opportunity and the quantum field evening itself out for you so that you can do it under grace and in perfect ways. It's what we all came in to do. I'm not ending with a healing mantra card because I'm healing with the Whispers of Love. That's what we're going to end with. But I'm going to get you your healing mantra card, so it's really back-to-back the Ascended Masters here that just gave you that card of receiving from the Chuck Spezzano pack. We're going to get you one from the Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck to kind of help with all of this. Take a nice deep breath. The Ascended Masters, please, one card in clarity for the Aries Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, please. What is the perfect mantra for them for this April 2020 on the path of true love in tandem with all these other cards we've got going on here, please, my masters, what saith you? Inviting ecstasy. I love this card. I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires. I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires. And though I could skip on time and not read this from the book, it's just such a teeny tiny little bit. I always find it helpful. Inviting ecstasy. I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires. When ecstasy is invited, you feel aligned and ready to receiving all the miraculous and joyful gifts of experience the universe is ready to provide you. Ecstasy acts as a cosmic green light that grants your destiny permission to enter. In many instances, pain can be healed and released once a healthy relationship with pleasure is established. That's the gift in all of this. That's why we're all being sort of locked down, right? So that we are evolving the infrastructure, the energy circuitry necessary within us to handle what's coming for us, all the stuff, the heart's desires, the manifestation of our dreams that are coming as a result of what we're going through now. This mantra is ideal for increasing self-worth, and that's a question. Like, if you're feeling unworthy, right, like insecure about that, get this mantra. It affirms it. I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires. Of course you are. You may not be feeling that. I don't think a lot of people are feeling that. So just that thing there, increasing self-worth, incredibly powerful. Elevating levels of excitement, which can very much be that card of victory in your water position, and allowing bigger dreams, right? Not just, well, I hope I live through this. Yes, we all want to live through this. We all hope to live through this. But your dreams are not being dashed forever. They're just being put on hold. Remember, the universe knows exactly what it's doing. it's going to have its way with us anyway, so we might as well let it do what it has to do for us. We play our role so we become the best that we can be. And remember, the path of true love removes the excess marble from the perfect statue, so to speak. Making a Michelangelo reference there. But that's why I wanted to save this one, or at least the guides wanted me to save this last one. A whisper of love from your own higher self, which some say is the soul, the higher self. It might all be semantics and at the end of it all. But so if you want to mate with your own soul, here's a whisper of love from your higher self. Cool. Nice deep breath. Lovely. The higher selves of all involved, please, one card in clarity for the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. That they may partner with their own soul, be their own soulmate, mate with their own soul. The Aries Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs for April 2020 on the path of true love. Please, higher self collective, what's your whisper of love to the Aries? I love you. These are very important words. That's all it says on the card. Last night, I had a migraine, took care of it a little bit, was in prayer. Go watch the stuff I put out earlier today, and in tears I pulled one of these cards last night. It's like, well, what's going on, higher self? I love you. And they said right back, I love you. I love you. These are important words. So you know what? These are very important words. Let that be your mantra as well, to say it to yourself, to say it to your heart, to give yourself the love that only you can give you, because your higher self is not just echoing that, it is leading the way. It is saying, I'm going to say it to you, you say it to me. Now, some people envision the higher self as the guardian angel, which makes a lot of sense. Why would this angel be following you around? It's the higher dimensional you, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. It's like all that upper chakra stuff, all the way up to the 12th and beyond, until we all merge into the one, because it's from the one we come, and to the one we will eventually return. So that thing of I love you, really let that be your mantra. Cool. Let's pop up the overview in the picture, and we'll see how this goes. Here we go. Magic clap. We start you with the Avenger, its shadow attribute, resorting to violence in the name of a cause, and maybe that cause is you want what you want, because you're an Aries and I get it. The light attribute, though, desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. So if you're feeling out of balance, this can totally be about you really bringing yourself into balance in a just way. And with the healing angel there of new love, this might be a whole new phase of you loving yourself, of being love, but perhaps you are being prepared for new love to come into your life. Now, that need not necessarily be romantic, sexual. Path of True Love reads are not always about sex and romance and that kind of stuff, but certainly it can be about divine love. It can be love through about creativity, about your work, your career, your vocation. So that's going to play itself out differently throughout the collective. And looking at your elements here, your element spread, you got the Four of Pentacles in fire, so what you're really wanting is that sense of groundedness and security, the well that doesn't run dry. Everybody's wanting that right now, I bet. What you have, though, is your passion, that Five of Flames, that Pele. But keep in mind, if you're in your shadow, you may want to be resorting to violence in the name of your cause. And that's not going to help anybody right now, particularly yourself. So to really channel that energy in a healthy way, as we discussed, because in the mind, you've got the Crone of Cups, Scorpio, Hecate, goddess of the crossroads, underworld goddess, right? The goddess of witches. That there is a transformation going on in your mind, because there's a transformation going on in the mental field in general right now. But it certainly says that your thoughts are being greatly influenced, maybe not just by your own emotions, but by the psychic pressure emotionally of the quantum of society in general right now. Because looking at your own emotional field, you've got that Seven of Flames victory, that there really is this power to move forward, to overcome obstacles, and to do this wisely and well, which then really changes the tone of that Five of Flames Pele card in your earth position. So your earth and your water, your two feminine elements, though they are both represented by fire, can really tandem, can really work together in tandem to channel this energy in a wonderful way. And then we look at your soul card there, and you've got Kali, the awakener of the tower, that you have been struck by lightning, perhaps a moment of divine intervention, a divine inspiration that has really shaken you to your roots, perhaps destroyed some foundations with you. And do keep in mind that for many of us, if not all of us on the planet, we are going through a sort of tower time right now. Jumping over to the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, the voice of the Ascended Masters, receiving, to receive healing, to be more yin, to go inside, to accept and receive the gift that is being given to you. You don't need to know what it is, but you can be like, all right, I am willing to receive whatever gift is being presented to me through this time that feels very turbulent. Maybe that is the gift of new love, right? But that bringing yourself into balance there, balancing the scales of justice for yourself through action, that action might be more receptive, feminine than yang, active, jumping on it, so to speak. And the Ascended Masters also give you the mantra for the healing mantra for inviting ecstasy. I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires. There's no question we are all worthy of all the pleasures our hearts desire, but we really want to make sure the foundation is stable, that we're going about it in the right way with, in a way, a mantra in and of itself from the higher self. I love you. These are very important words. Say them to yourself. You don't have to feel them. You just need to mean them. So to your volcano, I love you. It's okay to feel this way. To that card of victory, I love you. But just know that your mind is being transformed, that there is a crossroads here in terms of your thinking of who you want to be. Do you want to be an avenger, or do you want to be in vengeance? Either way, that's what the path of true love is holding for you for April 2020. So there you have it, my Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. May you be blessed with all that you need on the path of true love for this month of April 2020, that you may heal, that you may grow, that you may be the best that you can be, and that you may mate with your own soul, being your own soulmate, and therefore being the soulmate for another in a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise soulmate contract. Cool, cool. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed of the month. By the way, happy birthday. It is your month if you're a sun sign, Aries Sun. Otherwise, wishing you the best and the very blessed of it all. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.